Magandang hapon, kasalukuyang nagsasagawa ng media briefing si Press Secretary Designate Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Panoorin po natin to.
Meeting of President-elect Ferdinand Marcos and French Ambassador Michel Boucoz. Both sides began by congratulating each other for the win of the President-elect and for Emmanuel Macron's re-election as President, despite a campaign concurrent with the conflict in Ukraine. Both sides also discussed the effects and impacts of the said conflict on oil, energy, and food security. President-elect Marcos cited France as a model for the PH in terms of energy sourcing and generation. Both sides discussed the economy and the plans in this area of the incoming administration. Some of the prospective activities to commemorate 75 years of Philippine-France relations were also discussed, and briefly discussed towards the end of the meeting with the Indo-Pacific area and strategy, as well as issues of overseas Filipinos in France. The courtesy call, on the other hand, by His Excellency Luc Veron, head of the EU delegation to the Philippines, began with President-elect Ferdinand Marcos Jr. and Ambassador Luc Veron discussing various issues on Philippines and the European Union relations, including development cooperation, which includes support for the peace process in Mindanao, plus trade, disaster prevention, rule of law, good governance, and human rights. They also discussed the situation in Ukraine and how it had been affecting Europe and the Philippines. We'll take questions after the second announcement. We have new designated cabinet nominees. The first of which is Maria Senaida Angping for Secretary of the Presidential Management Staff. She comes with a professional experience in the fields of public service and administration and international relations and diplomacy. She is a three-term congresswoman who advocated legislative measures that promoted diplomatic relations, tourism, development, public health and education, women and children's welfare. She institutionalized necessary infrastructure that promoted sustainable self-reliance and empowerment, especially of the marginalized sector in the 3rd District of Manila. The next nominee is Mayor Christina Frasco for the Secretary of the Department of Tourism. She is the incumbent mayor of Liloan in Cebu. She was awarded the prestigious Presidential Ulat Bayan Regional Award by the Civil Service Commission in its 2021 search for outstanding government workers for her exemplary performance as a local chief executive through proactive initiatives towards innovation in governance and sustainable and inclusive programs fostering excellence in government service. She was a top-performing mayor in Central Visayas, ranking number 1 among the 116 mayors in the entire Region 7, and number 1 among all 44 municipal mayors in the province of Cebu. Next, we have for Secretary of the Department of Budget and Management, Amena Pangandaman. She has over 2 decades of policy development and finance expertise, has led various government offices before landing the role of Managing Director of the Office of the Governor and Executive Offices of the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas in 2019. She is the former Assistant Secretary of the DBM and former Chief of Staff of the late Senate President Edgardo Angara. For Secretary of the Department of Information and Communications, the ICT, the nominee is Ivan John Enrile Uy. He's an expert in technology law, well experienced in information technology project management, and served as chairman of the Commission on Information and Communications Technology for the Philippine government. He oversaw the formulation of the Philippine Digital Strategy from 2011 to 2016. He is an international commercial arbitrator on areas involving IT-related disputes. And finally, as Secretary for the Department of Social Welfare and Development, Mr. Erwin Tulfo. He has been in the public service doing social work in 3 decades, awarded Best Public Service Program Host. He is a 2014 SM Super meaning Salute to Unparalleled People, Endeavors, and Resources Award for Media for his coverage of Typhoon Yolanda. He is known for his involvement in covering and helping the Filipinos here and abroad through his social programs and partnership with other organizations. And that's it. We'll take a few questions. Hang on. Yes, very good. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any blaming for the inauguration for the president-elect?
All right, we have no information yet. I think they're still in the process of making some crucial decisions. So right now, no, I'm sorry, no information as of now. But we will inform you as soon as we get the information on the inaugural.
Ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Just for comment purposes, Sec, the basis again for this election of the cabinet post.
You want me to read them again?
No, ma'am. I mean the general one.
Generally, for their experience in public service and proven service records.
I had a question about Senator Amy Marcos and her role in the President-elect Marcos administration. Does she have a similar role to Bongo has in the President Duterte's administration as a sort of special assistant to the president?
The role of special assistant to the president has already been filled.
Yes, but she has sort of touted herself or self-nominated herself as like the super sister of the president.
Oh, she really does not need to nominate herself. She is the super sister of the president. So she will remain presidential sister as far as we can see.
But will there be a special role for her? Will she have a special role in the administration?
I'm afraid you'll have to ask Senator Amy that. Right now, she's a sitting senator.
My name?
Hi.
Yes, ma'am.
May na-defer po na appointments sa Senate, yung mga officials from COMELEC, COA. Asabi po ni Senator Zubiri, gusto lang daw niya nabigyan ng free hand yung next administration na pumili at kumilatis nung mauupong official doon. Meron po bang plano si BBM na mag-appoint ng panibagong mga tao sa mga
Well, we have not been informed of any plans yet. As far as I know, since this is a late development, we will have to refer to the President-elect. Perhaps we'll come up with a statement as soon as possible.
What about the DOE, Energy Department? Parang may lumabas na si Congressman Marcoleta raw po sa mga Twitter.
I'm afraid, unless we've made the announcement, nothing is final yet.
Ma'am, the 5 cabinet secretaries you mentioned, have they accepted already or
Yes.
are they? Okay.
Wala pa po.
Ma'am, I have a question about this meeting with the EU representative.
Yes.
Considering the European Parliamentary Resolution in last February issued a resolution calling for the abolition of the NTL CALCAP and amendment of the Anti-Terrorism Act, will there be a heightened monitoring of the Philippines' compliance with the GSP Plus conditions?
Will there be a...
Heightened monitoring of the Philippines' compliance with the GSP Plus
I'm
conditions?
afraid no policy has yet been set on that. As you know, the president is still president-elect. So such a policy will have to be formulated once official communications have been made and he is actually the sitting president. Okay?
Confirmation lang on reports that pinalook daw ni President-elect Marcos si President Duterte ng role as structure.
Oh, that was during the interview. The interview he conducted, the first interview, post-proclamation interview. His words were, it wasn't a formal invitation, but if he should want to, then that, he certainly would be considered.
My last question.
Yes?
Ma'am, may bagong report yung PMPI. Asia Maritime Transparency Initiative. May na-report silang dalawang insidente ng pangharas ng China Coast Guard at militia sa Philippine vessel sa Ayungin Shoal nitong April. Ang sabi ng director ng PMPI, the long-term plan for China seems to be to make it so dangerous and costly that the Philippines abandons the Sierra Madre, yung nakasalsad na barko po dun sa Ayungin Shoal. Now my question is, will the Marcos admin pull out our personnel in BRP Sierra Madre or stay lang yung mga sundalo natin doon despite ng ganitong harassment in China?
President-elect Marcos's foreign policy has not changed, but since this is new information, we'll have to get a further statement, if ever, on that one. For the moment, he's not yet the sitting president, so these matters should be addressed first by President Rodrigo Duterte.
Ma'am, follow-up po dun sa China question. Because nagbago from the campaign, sabi kasi ni President-elect Marcos, hindi na available sa atin yung Hague ruling. But in the interview with you there, sinabi niya, he will use the arbitral ruling. What changed? Nag-change ba? Should we see this as a pivot to the U.S.?
The foreign policy has not changed, but as of the moment, since he is not yet the sitting president, the details will have to be worked out when he is actually the architect of our foreign policy.
Thank you.
All right, thank you very much, guys.
At napanood po natin ang media briefing ni incoming Press Secretary Attorney Trixie Cruz-Angeles. Kabilang sa kanyang mga tinalakay ang pakikipagpulong ni President-elect Ferdinand Bongbong Marcos sa ilang diplomat. Gayun din, napag-usapan niya ang mga larangan ng energy sourcing, relasyon ng France at Pilipinas, development cooperation, kapayapaan sa Mindanao at iba pang usapin. Inanunsyo rin ni Angeles sa mga susunod na kalihim o nominee sa ilalim ng Marcos administration. Kabilang dito sila Christina Frasco, susunod na Tourism Secretary. Si Frasco ang spokesperson ni VP-elect Sara Duterte. Amena Pangadian, Paganaman bilang susunod na DBM Secretary. At sa DICT, si Ivan Enrile Uy na nagsilbi sa Commission on Information and Communications Technology noong Pinoy administration. Susunod na sekretary ng DSWD ang broadcaster na si Erwin Tulfo. Samantala, bumaba ang mga naitatanang kaso ng dengue sa bansa ayon sa Department of Health. Sa datos ng DOH, nasa 25,000 dengue cases ang naiulat mula January 1 hanggang May 7 ngayong taon. Mas mababa ito ng 6% kumpara sa bilang noong nakaraang taon sa kaparehong panahon. Karamihan sa mga kaso ay naitala sa Region 7, 3 at 9. Muli naman nagpaalala ang DOH na ugaliing maglinis lalo't panahon na ng tagulan. Samantala, alamin mo natin ang iba pang balita mula sa PTV Davao. Magandang hapon, Julius Pangol.
Daghang salamat, Audrey. Nahimong malampuson ang gipahigayong Santa Cruzan sa JKK Our Lady of Piña Francia Chapel sa Deca Homes Esperanza, Barangay Tigato, Davao City, niadtong adlaw nga Sabado. Nagsuot og ball gowns nga dunay nagkadaiyang colors, isip representante sa mga reyna sa Santa Cruzan. Unang higayon kini nga nagpahigayon sila og Santa Cruzan human sa usa ka bulan nga selebrasyon sa Flores de Mayo. Gimo usab ang culminating program sulod sa chapel kung asa nagperform ang mga miyembro sa youth ministry hasta sa paghatag og award sa mga bata nga misalmot sa Flores de Mayo. Ginapahigayon ng Santa Cruzan isip paghinumdom sa pagkakita sa Holy Cross ni Saint Helena o Reina Elena ug sayang anak nga si Constantine nga mo'y nahimong pinakaunang Christian Roman Emperor. Pinagi sa pagpahigayon niini, naglaom ang mga deboto nga magpabiling buhi ang tradisyon sa simbahang Katoliko. Samtang gikalipay sa mga residente ug turista ang pagsalom sa mga duyong sa kadagatan sa Barangay Gumasa sa Glan, Sarangani Province. Sumala pa sa Department of Environment and Natural Resources kon DENR Socsargen, 7 ka mga duyong ang nakitaan. Nagasalom sa dagat nga gilangkuban sa 3 ka mga inahan ug ilang 4 ka mga anak. Natulusab sa ilang pagpakita niatong tungura sa Sarangani Bay Conserve Fest 2022. Ang mga duyong gikonsiderang vulnerable to extinction nga mga marine mammal. Ug mao kadto ang mga nagunang balita gikan dinhi sa PTV Davao. Ako si Julius Pakot. Balik kanimo, Audrey.
Maraming salamat, Julius Pakot. At iyan ang mga balita sa oras na ito. Para sa iba pang update, i-follow tuloy kami sa Facebook at Twitter sa @PTVPH. Ako po si Audrey Goriseta. Magandang hapon.